it's Leanne Lindsay from Tinsel and Tine. And today we'll be visiting with Dianne Moore. She's a certified health coach on nutrition and well-being for women and the founder of MooreBetterFood. We're joined by videographer and illustrator Diane Roka, who will be capturing the interview. Hi, Diane.
Hi, Leanne.
Thank you for meeting with us.
Thanks for having me.
So my first question is, so were you always a healthy eater? Or is it, and then you thought, well, this is my passion, so I just want to bring this to the world and make it my profession? Or were you someone who's struggled with your weight in the past and someone else taught you, and then you felt like, you know, your lessons could become valuable?
Well, so yeah, I can say that yes, I've been pretty much of a healthy eater for most of my life. I grew up, my family had a garden, and so I got to eat lots and lots of fresh fruits and vegetables year round. My mom, however, was a really excellent baker, and she made fabulous chocolate chip cookies and pies and cakes and all kinds of really awesome things. So I was a pretty healthy eater, but I also was pretty healthy at eating some not so good things for me. Some things that helped shape me out a little bit more than I should. But really, I think I was able to get away with it because when you're young, you can burn off a lot of things that you can't necessarily get away with as you get older.
Were you into sports and things like that too? Were you running?
Not so much, but I was just active. I played outside a lot.
All right.
The thing I think that really turned me around and made me conscious about what I eat is when I got pregnant with my first son.
Ah.
I was a mom, but I was advocating for healthier choices. It led me also to getting a job with an organization called Healthcare Without Harm. And for that job, I worked with hospitals and hospital food service directors to look at the kinds of foods that they were serving in their cafeterias and to their patients. And it really educated me about where our food comes from and what's involved in not only the growing, but the packaging and transporting and processing of foods.
Now, Healthcare Without Harm, is that a nonprofit?
It's a nonprofit. It's an international nonprofit.
International nonprofit.
And it works with the healthcare system, trying to help the healthcare system improve in many different ways. And food was just the piece that I worked with.
Okay. Oh, all right. So
But when I finished working with Healthcare Without Harm, I really was interested in nutrition and what not only the sustainable piece of food, but then the nutrition piece. So I went to the Institute of Integrative Nutrition, and I learned all about various diets, and that has helped me to learn that the way that we eat is very individualized, and the way that you approach a person is very individualized. And
so yeah, the individual I can imagine is very important, and the fact that you do the counseling one-on-one. But can you talk a little bit more about how you do approach people in their emotional eating, you know, the things that their triggers?
Well, so yes, when I work with clients, I talk with them a lot about how they were raised, what foods they love, what foods they eat, what their work schedule is like.
That's a big one.
How much time they have involved to prepare food or to cook food. Do they like to cook food? So I do a lot of things to assess not only what's going on with food, but also what's going on with a person's life. Because if we're really hustling and bustling, if we're bored out of our minds, we're going to eat different things than if we're happy and satisfied and have all the time in the world to devote to that sort of thing. So everybody eats differently, and you digest your food better if you're more relaxed, if you're not feeling guilty, and if you sit down with your food and you sit down at the table in particular, you look at your food, you smell your food, you anticipate eating your food. Your digestive system actually starts processing because you're anticipating it. You smell it. Your mouth starts to water. You start the digestive process already, smelling it, and then the other piece of it is when you relax and look at your food and pay attention to your food. A lot of times what happens is you'll spend time with it, you'll remember that you ate it. You don't just kind of like gobble it down while you're also reading your email or talking on the phone to somebody.
It kind of brings us to the fact that you're not just a nutritionist or a dietitian, but that you care about the person's whole well-being, right. And that you're working with people on where you're meeting them at where they are.
I'm meeting them where they are. I like to meet people exactly where they are because none of us is perfect. I like my chocolate cake. I still love chocolate chip cookies, but they're deadly if you eat too many of them. But I like snacks. I like to have real snacks, but I also really love real food, and so I like to eat a little of everything, and I try to make it reasonable. I try to keep it balanced, and yeah.
A little of everything, because I was reading a magazine where they had asked some top nutritionists what are some dietary things that they try to work into their diets every day, which seems a little extreme every day, because one person even said turmeric, which I can't see how you could possibly work that into your diet every day, but others said nuts and seeds and some citrus, and I think one person said they eat oatmeal every day, which sounds very boring. But you're saying you try to do balance. So is there anything like that you feel like try to fit into your diet every day?
Mark Hyman, who's a physician who specializes in nutrition, talks a lot about G-bombs, and he means greens, beans, onions, mushrooms, and berries. And in that process also, he likes nuts. Oh, and there's an S on the end. So
that's what
the S is
bombs.
Seeds.
Okay.
Seeds and nuts are the S.
Right.
And so if you can get those things in each day, you're really, really good. I do eat oatmeal every day.
Do you?
I do.
Oh
I love
gracious.
But
with the raisins?
I do. I have raisins.
I hate it with raisins.
I have walnuts and bananas and sometimes coconut. I like to put a little flaked coconut on there.
That could be.
And then I have it with almond milk, so I get more nuts and seeds in there. And I love it. That's my comfort food.
Is it?
It is. It's totally my comfort food.
Okay.
I've loved that since I was a kid. But I really do try to get in a little something every day. And, there's eat your rainbow. If you can eat your rainbow of vegetables.
Oh, the color schemes of
the color schemes. So, red peppers, greens, white onions, purple eggplants. All those things really, really contribute to a healthy diet.
Yeah.
And if you can have whole grains in there, that's your brown foods.
Mm-hmm. Or brown rice, right?
Brown rice and whole wheat, wheat berries. There's all kinds of really delicious grains, farro, and all kinds of really wonderful whole grains. Quinoa is a gluten-free one. So there are lots and lots of great grains to have and produce to have, and then lean protein is the other component that you should probably have in your diet.
I guess now it's just second nature to you as you're shopping, as you're cooking, as you're planning your day.
I usually try to plan out meals, a week's worth of meals ahead of time, and so when I go to the grocery store, I buy the right components for those meals. I don't always do a great job of planning the entire week out. I'll get maybe 2 or 3 days going, but you try as best you can. But that leaves me so that I have a game plan each day, and I'm not caught short at 5 o'clock. Not everybody has that luxury, and so a lot of times what I will also advocate for is to take a day and sort of sit down and prepare a few things ahead of time so you can just kind of toss them all together when you come home at the end of the day.
smoothies, right?
Smoothies is good.
Because you can put a lot of those colors, a lot of the rainbows into one smoothie, right?
You can. Although with smoothies, I would really encourage that you keep it primarily on the vegetable side and less on the fruits and berry side. Because fruits will be your sugars, and having too much sugar, even if it's a fruit, is too much sugar. So what I really advocate is for people to eat healthier foods, fresher fruits and vegetables. Frozen is also good, but just to really start to eat more healthy food products. So I'll go to whatever grocery store they shop at. ShopRite, Acme, Whole Foods, Trader Joe's, Wegmans,
Oh,
whatever.
So you don't tell them, well, you need to start shopping at Whole Foods,
No.
and this is where you need.
I go to their grocery store,
All right.
and I help them to find not only healthy products, but how to read nutrition labels and also how to read eco labels, which are confusing.
Okay.
And I walk them through whatever foods they like to eat and how to bump up the healthy aspect of that.
Okay.
So that's the start, is to just find good quality foods to start with.
Because you don't want to scare people right away with how many
No, and it's expensive.
chemicals are in our foods and
Right.
Yeah.
And
I think it's
not everybody has that kind of budget to just run out and buy super organic food. So we start where everyone is and really start to just add in where people feel like they can add in. And so that's number one. And then I do also like to look at people's kitchens and their pantries, because I talk with them a lot about not only the kinds of safer cookware to use, so more of the stainless steel cookware, less of the non-stick cookware, which has PFOA, a chemical that helps keep food from sticking, but when heated at high temperatures can put vapors in the air, which then can cause health problems later on. And then also all the packaging that food comes in, the plastics and the unnecessary packaging, the cardboard and the plastics and the bags and all that.
I mean, I think that would work, but it's a good thing to keep in mind. We all do use a lot of plastic.
We use a lot of plastic, and plastic can leach chemicals into our food, especially if our foods are acidic or if they're heated to high temperatures. So if you have hot food and plastic is touching your hot food, plastic could be leaching into your food. And that has implications again. Those chemicals are called obesogens. And the reason is because, again, they change.
They sound like monsters, fat monsters.
Fat monsters. They change the way we metabolize our food, and they also change the size and the shape and the number of fat cells that we have in our body. And these chemicals can also be what's called lipophilic, means that they love fat tissue. So that's where they live, and they're going to multiply in our fat tissue. So we want to reduce our exposure to these obesogens. So not having foods that come in cans that are lined with a plastic lining, a BPA lining. So having, if you make a dinner and you have leftovers, store it in a glass container. You make soup and you have leftovers. A glass jar is a perfectly great container to have that stored in. So there are different little tricks that you can learn about how to make it safer for yourself without spending a fortune.
It sounds incredibly important because these fat cells are what's triggering diabetes and a lot of cancers. So it all kind of, it's a step-by-step process.
It's a piece, it's a piece of the puzzle, and we want to eliminate this piece in the puzzle. So
it's something that we can handle. We have some control over.
Yes. So eating healthy and storing your food in the right containers and cooking with the right cookware and not having lots of processed foods in your diet all is part of that process. And so that's what I work with people on, and that's my focus. And, I think what I would really like to see is I would like to see people going back, and this is going to sound maybe a little crazy, but people going back to enjoying cooking as an art form. There's a physician named Preston Mehring who says that the most important tool you can have in your kitchen is a chef's knife. And the reason is, if you know how to use your chef's knife, you can make anything you want to eat. But you also are going to be eating whole foods. You're not going to be dependent upon a package or a frozen product to deliver a meal to you. And if you can use a chef's knife and create an art form in whatever it is that you're making for yourself to eat that meal, you really are engaging with your food in a really healthy way, and you're gaining a